Don't get me wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, I found a video that is going viral about people that don't have self-control.
Please don't do that.
So,
I'm already black and it already looks
okay,
bad
it
enough.
has nothing to do with race, man. We have two people that are dead right now caused by an accident.
Because
that you and
she
your brother
gassed on it.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with me and my brother.
Okay,
we were not speeding. What do you not understand?
You know what the speed limit is on here?
Yes, it's 55. We were going 60.
Okay.
It's not my problem that she wanted to be a dumb bitch and try to beat us. Okay. That's not my problem.
Okay.
You placing me under arrest for something that we did not do? We have digital dashes, bro.
Yeah, we're going to get all that.
We have digital dashes.
So
therefore, we were going 60.
So you don't have to yell at me.
I have to because you don't understand.
Okay, so here's what is going to happen.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
You're not placing me under arrest or anything.
With all due respect, this lady was already screaming before they could even understand her, because that's her reaction, which is interesting in this whole clip.
Sure, 770.
Here, Camille is immediately placing blame on the other driver. She doesn't hesitate to use profanities towards Taylor, who she incorrectly believes was driving the red car.
I think we're going to call 1072.
Okay. 45-122, there's going to be two.
And here the cop is confirming that the other two people in the red car that was split in two, they are deceased. Now everybody's trying to find their place in the whole situation. Where's the family member? But somebody is rather angrier over the whole situation.
Officers gathered information and got most of the story put together. The individuals in the red car, Dalton and Taylor, were struck by the white car, driven by Leon Bond III with his twin sister, Sienna, in the front passenger seat. Their older sister, Camille Lachey Dennis Bond, was driving alongside them in a separate and seemingly uninvolved black vehicle with her best friend in the passenger seat, Lynn. Lynn was the one to make the 911 call at the beginning of this video. After the crash, Camille stopped down the street in the middle of the road and ran towards the accident on foot. According to court testimony, Camille got out of the car so fast she forgot to put the car in park, but Lynn noticed and did it for her from the passenger seat. Officers quickly realized this may be a criminal investigation involving multiple fatalities and that extreme speeds were likely involved. Accordingly, they quickly identify Camille as a key person of interest. Officers will eventually obtain video evidence of the crash itself to further support Camille's involvement. We will go over that footage later.
I'm just surprised that you can be involved in an accident, but the way somebody reacts, I don't want to judge them, but at the same time, you don't build that character because it's so natural. Sometimes you build a character over time with no consequence, and then it might be normal sometimes that you can speak like that.
Here, Camille is immediately placing blame on the other driver. She doesn't hesitate to use profanities towards Taylor, who she incorrectly believes was driving the red car.
Nobody was racing. We were going 65.
Okay. So, I understand that.
No.
Okay, so you think you're going 65?
We weren't even going that fast, and I watched it. That's the thing. I watched it.
Okay.
And he was even behind me.
So who squealed out at the intersection there? Do you
What
know?
was that?
Who squealed out back at that intersection way down there? Did
That
you have a
was-
witness that said that somebody had smoke
we
pouring
didn't.
out of the tires? and
No,
stuff?
we did not. I literally, we left at the same time. Nobody had wheels nor nothing.
Okay.
That whoever told you that is lying.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna say it like this: whoever told you who said that, most likely is probably white, and I know it is.
Well, probably, yes, that would make the person a racist. But at the same time, the white girl wasn't driving the car, but you blamed her. Does that make you a racist?
This wouldn't be the first time Camille has claimed being prejudiced against while being accused of a crime. Before the day of the crash, Camille held several speeding tickets in her records, even though she was just 19 years old.
I don't want to say told you so of the past related to the reaction, but many times in my personal anecdotal experience, it was the case. But that's just me. Maybe it's my neighborhood.
19 years old. Her first ticket listed she was traveling 50 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour zone, 20 miles over the speed limit. Her second speeding charge was for going 58 miles in a 45-mile-an-hour zone, 13 miles over the speed limit. However, the ticket details that she was very argumentative with the officer in this situation. The report shares that she argued she was pulled over due to her loud music and her being black, then claimed she was traveling that speed on a hill, and then when the officer handed her the ticket, she crumpled it up and tossed it into the passenger seat of her vehicle. Her third ticket was listed as duty to drive with due care speed, where no specific speed data is cited. More details on more of her tickets will be covered shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, remember to subscribe, like the video, and if you don't want to, my son will ask you. Remember to subscribe.
We were not racing, no, none of that.
You weren't racing at all?
No,
Okay.
I told him, for a simple fact, I'm gonna tell you just like this. For a simple fact, we are black. It is a nice day outside. I know that the police are out. We see the state troopers out. We were not going for that. I said, we're gonna just go the speed limit up here. He said, okay. His car has more horsepower than mine does. So obviously it's gonna sound like it because I know how the engine sounds. And I'm gonna spit fact.
Who cares about the horsepower? The red car of the people that passed away has been split open. So even if she gassed because two cars are racing, okay, it might have been a bad reaction, but then still, you're racing. And the fact that you can still react in a defensive way, I can understand that. But you still broke the law. And you took two people with you.
Oh, you guys!
Let's go put on an extra.
I love you, Mom! Yep. Yeah, and yes, they did use force and I was not resisting.
So, miss, what we'll do is we'll take a statement from you and everything you said
Can you take me out of these, please?
when we get back to our station, okay?
Love you guys!
Can you, Jay, you want to pat her down quick?
I don't have anything.
I know, I gotta make sure.
There's nothing in my ass. I need to got my drawers off.
Listen,
I need to got no f***ing drawers off.
Okay, have a seat.
While both Leon and Camille were arrested that day, they were both released shortly after pending charges. However, prosecutors did charge and arrested the driver of the white vehicle that made contact in the crash. Leon was ultimately tried as a juvenile. This was despite the efforts to try him as an adult, including a delinquency petition and a petition for adult verification, both of which were denied. Because he was tried as a juvenile, the details surrounding his case are not readily available or public. However, we do know some things, which includes a peek into Leon's school history with fights. One appellate case reveals that Leon's mother legally went after a school official when he attempted to prevent a fight that involved Leon, his two sisters, and another student. The case accuses the school official of dislocating Leon's arm while attempting to prevent the fight. This case was ultimately denied by the court due to there being a lack of willful or malicious wrong in the school official's actions. While Leon's case was being determined, Camille was also charged 6 months after the crash with charges surrounding her direct involvement by drag racing. During that 6-month period before her arrest, Camille got pulled over and charged for driving on a revoked license. Her license was revoked due to her failing to address her 3 previous speeding charges.
If your license gets revoked, I'm like, I can understand you have to do something. Do you need to have that much fun? It doesn't click in my brain, you know?
She then got another speeding ticket that listed her going 59 miles an hour in a 35-mile-an-hour zone, 24 miles over the speed limit. In that pullover, she stated she was going downhill as the reason she was traveling so fast.
I've never heard in my life when I told somebody, can you stop going fast? And they said, what? We're going downhill.
In October of 2021, she was issued an arrest warrant and faced 2 counts of third-degree murder, 2 counts of criminal vehicular homicide, 1 count of criminal vehicular operation resulting in great bodily harm, and 1 count of careless driving. The warrant she was issued revealed more details surrounding the incident, including a deeper look into post-event interviews and forensic research. The report detailed surveillance footage that shows the intersection they started the race at. Witness testimony shares that the two exchanged a conversation here pertaining to whose car could accelerate faster. After that alleged conversation, the two cars take off well ahead of the other vehicles surrounding them. Another surveillance camera captures the impact. Moments before, you can see just how long it takes for this uninvolved vehicle to enter the right side of the frame and pass the area where the crash happens. When Camille and Leon's vehicles zoom by moments later, it takes roughly half the time. A crash reconstruction report reveals data obtained by the airbag control module in Leon's vehicle. The report indicated Leon and his sister Camille, who was traveling alongside him, were going 114 miles per hour just 5 seconds before the crash, 64 miles over the posted 50-mile-an-hour speed limit.
This is 55. We were going 60.
It's just sad, man. I don't know why.
Documents also indicated Leon and Camille were over 3 football fields away when Dalton and Taylor started to take the turn. They traveled roughly 3/4 of a mile after taking off from the intersection before crashing. Her and her brother's vehicle were traveling between 93 and 106 miles an hour before Leon's vehicle struck Dalton and Taylor. The day after her arrest on October 29, 2021, Camille posted a $75,000 non-cash bond, which came with conditions that notably did not exclude her driving privileges, allowing her to drive despite the seriousness behind her case. 2 months after her release on bond, court records indicate she got in a car accident where she claimed another driver was at fault.
I don't understand how she got the privilege. With a bond, you only have to pay 10% to get out. She gets out, gets in the accident, blames somebody else. I don't know. Sometimes I'm thinking, is it the parents' fault? Or do we have a system that justifies the thing that the parents want to justify? I just think if you have a few accidents like in Europe, gun license immediately, no mumbo jumbo.
Her to drive despite the seriousness behind her case. 2 months after her release on bond, court records indicate she got in a car accident where she claimed another driver was at fault. She issued a small claims case to the court for the other individual to pay a sum greater than $4,500. In the following year, she won this court case due to the other party not showing up. She was given yet another speeding ticket in May of 2022. This time she was caught going 83 miles an hour in a 60-mile-an-hour zone, 23 miles over the speed limit. In this pullover, the ticket cites that Camille was unaware of the speed limit, cried, and explained to the officer that she had a bad experience with law enforcement before and was afraid of cops. State records allegedly showed her car's registration was expired despite the stickers on her car displaying she was up to date.
Crying. Oh my God, I'm afraid for police. Oh, because you keep driving. Drive like a grandpa. Wake up on time. But maybe you're doing it to yourself because you think it's okay. Well, no, we're not advocating for this. Well, then send them to prison. No, we don't want to do that. Well, that's going to happen. Well, not because this is happening. You're going to conflating to this causation. But I mean, those beautiful, I don't care about the beautiful words if people are gone. The fact that she can drive a car, 3 football stadium, and a person can see the car, be like, well, that's going to take some time. The speed limit is 55. Bam.
News reports January of 2020 expired despite the stickers on her car displaying she was up to date. In January of 2023, 3 months shy of 2 years after the car crash, news reports indicate that Camille's brother Leon pled guilty to 2 counts of third-degree murder. He was sentenced to 25 years of prison that same month. Because inmates only have to serve 2/3 of their sentence before transferring to probation, this means he should be out of jail in 16 years and 8 months, or in September of 2039, when he is 36 years old. However, rules apply differently for juvenile cases. Here is an image posted on what appears to be Leon's Facebook page, posted in September of 2023, where he seems to be under house arrest. He proudly holds what looks to be $1,000 in cash with a smile on his face. Because Leon was being tried as a juvenile, he was put on probation until the age of 21, with a stayed sentence of 25 years in prison. As long as Leon doesn't break probation by age 21, his sentence will be considered served.
I don't understand the system at all. But it does feel like the system kinda promotes certain reactions. You sentenced for 25 years, but because of juvenile and good behavior, it will be at 21?
In mid-2024, Leon turned 21 and successfully completed his probation. His sentence for murdering Dalton and Taylor is considered served. His sister, who operated the other racing vehicle, Camille Dennis Bond, faced a slew of charges as an adult for her involvement, making her case information more readily available. Through court deliberations, Camille's defense team would not only argue that she was not at fault due to her not being in the vehicle that struck Taylor and Dalton, but would go as far as to say Dalton should have yielded before the turn, and even suggested Dalton was at fault for the crash. In this section of the video, we will cover the surprising court deliberations that brought the case to its conclusion. In court, several factors were brought to light through witness and expert testimonies. While there are some notable instances of witnesses ascribing the scene to being horrific and the worst thing they have ever experienced, some more frustrating revelations deemed that Camille and her brother Leon were not only reckless with their actions, but continued to be reckless after bystanders had told them to slow down prior to the crash. Court testimony details that a bystander noticed descriptions of Camille's and Leon's vehicles traveling at a high rate of speed past her house in a residential neighborhood. This frustrated the witness as it was Easter Sunday, and there were children outside. This witness noticed that the pair parked down the street from her residence, so she decided to walk down to the cars to tell them to slow down.
That's a typical thing that I would do, but then again,
This witness's testimony matched the descriptions of Camille, her passenger friend Lynn, and the description of the vehicles Camille and her brother were driving. After the neighbor had spoke to them directly about slowing down, she claims the cars then sped past her on the road as she was walking back to her home, which was an inferred attempt at retaliation. This neighbor then tried calling 911 at 10:28 over their reckless behavior, roughly 4 minutes before the crash happened. Unfortunately, it appears the call didn't connect, and the neighbor decided to let it go, seeing as she only had a partial license plate to work with. A couple days later, when she saw a news article involving the vehicles, she claims to have recognized the plate based off the partial she had, causing her to call the authorities to inform them of the racing activity she saw the pair engaged in earlier that morning. If that wasn't jarring enough, the prosecuting attorney also called up Lynn, the passenger in Camille's car, and revealed Camille and Leon's lack of remorse over the whole situation.
the whole idea of lack of remorse is something that always triggers me in a way to be very defensive around certain people. And you don't have to be black for me to see that.
Lynn claims that she was best friends with Camille, but ceased the relationship over the morality of the situation. Lynn supported the neighbor's claim that Camille and Leon were not driving safe in the neighborhood, and confirmed that the neighbor had spoken to both Camille and Leon. She also shared that, in the moments before the pair sped off at the intersection, Camille and Leon exchanged a conversation through their car windows over who could accelerate faster. Camille in past interrogations claimed that this was true, though she informed her brother not to go faster than 55 miles an hour so that they wouldn't be pulled over.
That's how you lose friends, by being responsible.
Lynn's testimony contradicted that claim, citing the pair never talked about speed limits. During her testimony, Lynn admitted she was scared during her 911 call because she had realized the car Camille was driving could have just as easily impacted Dalton and Taylor's vehicle. She shared that Camille was largely concerned about the damage to the car and the condition of her siblings, but that nobody went to the red car, and that Camille was unremorseful. Lynn also detailed that at a time after the crash during a birthday party, Camille and Leon, among other family members, held a conversation blaming the red car for the accident despite their excessive speeds. She further shares that the Bond family seemed to only care about their own family being injured and held no empathy or sadness for Dalton or Taylor's passing. Lynn also cited that she stopped being friends with Camille after the birthday party because she felt sad, traumatized, and remorseful, while Camille felt differently. Other witnesses appeared on the stand to share their opinions of Camille and Leon's driving. One witness shared they told others after witnessing their speeds that they're going to kill somebody moments before the crash. Other witnesses added more claims to Camille's words on scene, including, "The f***ing better be dead or I'll find her and kill her," and "You stupid dumb ass effing white bitch." Others sharing, "In all the years I've been driving, I've never seen two cars drive like that before." And that witnesses found it jarring. Camille didn't attempt to help her injured sister, but was able to maintain threatening 2 fatal crash victims. The defense's argument that Dalton and Taylor's vehicle should have yielded brought frustrations to witnesses taking the stand. A jury court would unanimously convict her on all of her charges. In closing statements prior to determining Camille's sentencing, countless contributions from the community shared how the case, and particularly the loss of Dalton and Taylor, impacted their lives. Taylor's father shared that he'll never forget the scream his wife, Taylor's mother, let out the day 2 police officers came to their home to inform them of their daughter's death. He shares that the sound still haunts him to that day. Dalton's older brother Dylan, a pastor, shared that if Camille's family remained blind to her guilt, that she would remain guilty on the day of her judgment, and God would strike her down for the murderer that she is. Friends of the family shared frustrations with Leon's light sentence, sharing that they hated the court system for giving him such an easy break.
Even if I don't believe these people, without believing these people, her action does reflect a specific attitude that I thought I might be right, and in this case, I'm right.
with Leon's light sentence, sharing that they hated the court system for giving him such an easy break. They also shared that rules do not apply to Camille and that she will kill again. They referenced Camille's lack of remorse, pointing out that Camille turned to her mom, laughing and playing on her phone like it was any other day during breaks in court testimony. In contrast, when Camille and Leon's mother Crystal took the stand, she denounced the notion that her children should be called murderers, citing a Webster's dictionary definition that mentioned premeditation, even though they were being tried for third-degree murder. She also claimed she feared Camille was going to become the next George Floyd, and said Veronica had, quote, verbally assaulted her for calling her a bad mother a year after the incident. When it came time for sentencing, the judge first cited his reasoning. He shared that, in my 40 years of being involved in the legal business in various aspects, I've never been involved in a case that's affected and impacted so many different people in so many different ways. He also pointed out frustrations that Leon was tried as a juvenile and wouldn't spend a day in prison as long as he abides by his probation conditions. Before sharing the sentencing, he told Camille directly, I think you're in deep denial about what exactly your role played in this event. For her third-degree murder charges, she was sentenced with 150 months for one and 180 months for the other, which would be served concurrently with her sentence for criminal vehicular operation resulting in serious bodily harm, which amounted to 38 months. For the rest of her convictions, a sentence was not pronounced. Because all of her sentences run concurrently with each other, her total sentence is 180 months, or 15 years. In Minnesota, inmates must serve 2/3 of their total sentence, making her eligible for probation after 10 years. She was also permitted 107 days of jail credit. Her court fees were waived, but she was ordered to pay Dalton's mother nearly $30,000 in restitution, which would be deducted from prison wages and from pay she obtains while on probation. Using this information, having been sentenced in March of 2023, she will likely get out of prison at the tail end of the year in 2032, when she is 30 years old. After her sentencing, Camille submitted her case into the Court of Appeals to be retried. Her appellate case was effectively denied by the courts, sealing her sentence.
Are you freaking kidding me? You're gonna retry that? But the fact that she blamed the girl in the beginning, that white, and she wasn't even driving? Yeah, you don't give me a lot of space to show you the same empathy back.
Don't get me wrong, makosa kita bong. Buta fire na mi blonde, kush hash, purple skunk, criollo, colombici, jam jam, durlo, que ta verde, ta welcome.